Today, we will be learning about the American Civil War. Our focus today will be on the causes of the Civil War. The Civil War took place between 1861 and 1865. Before we can begin to understand the causes, we must first learn about the differences between the northern states and the southern states. In the South, many people lived a rural lifestyle, which meant they lived and worked on farms and lived in small towns. There were not many big cities. In the South, people wanted lower tariffs or taxes on imported goods, and they preferred to buy goods from Great Britain because it was cheaper. Most states in the South allowed slavery because it was profitable. Northerners lived an urban way of life. This meant that the North had many big cities and many people lived on farms, but more and more people were getting jobs in factories. People began to live in big cities and large towns. People in the North wanted higher tariffs on imported goods, so Americans would buy goods made in the U.S. Most states in the North outlawed slavery. Two main causes of the Civil War were slavery and states' rights. Since many people in the South lived and worked on small farms or plantations, slaves were used to increase productivity. Slaves helped farm cotton, tobacco, and rice on large plantations. However, Northerners, especially abolitionists, opposed slavery and believed it was wrong for one human being to own another. Southerners argued that people who worked in northern factories often worked for little pay and in poor conditions. Another main cause of the Civil War was states' rights. States' rights is the idea that states have the right to make decisions about issues that concern them. In 1819, there were 11 free states and 11 slave states. Missouri wanted to become an official state and wanted to become a slave state. Southern states wanted Missouri admitted as a slave state, and northern states opposed the idea. The admittance of new states and the balance between slave states and free states led to the Missouri Compromise and the Compromise of 1850. We will be discussing these compromises during our next class. Review. Pause the video after each question to discuss your answers with your partner. Number 1. Compare and contrast the differences between the economies and populations of the northern states and the southern states. Number 2. Why did views about slavery differ in the North and the South? I hope you enjoyed this presentation of the causes of the American Civil War.